KMT Chair Li-wun just came back from a trip to the U.S., which included stops in major cities like San Francisco, Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C., and also Los Angeles. Is there anything that we can extrapolate from her trip?
So this was a charm offensive, you could say, that is trying to win the U.S. over, because there are those forces in Taiwan that would like to see Taiwan go away as an issue, perhaps if the KMT is in power, but also then seeking support from overseas Taiwanese communities, but perhaps also overseas Chinese communities. And so part of it was to reassure DC that she will maintain stable cross-strait relations in spite of her rhetoric against, at times, U.S. arms sales, or that she would like to see Taiwanese proud to be Chinese. But in the sense, I think there also is alarm that was raised by some of the people that she met with, or the incidents that happened during her trip, such as confrontations with Chinese dissidents, or meeting with people that were connected to the Chinese United Front. And so it's actually very hard to tell, because I think it could go either way. In terms of what the trip was aimed at, it's probably for building a future presidential run, but we'll have to see there.
Legislative Speaker Han Kuo-yu, who's also part of the KMT, he's heading to D.C. relatively soon, and his trip comes shortly after Jung came back from her trip to D.C. What do you think the purpose of his trip might be?
He was previously the 2020 KMT presidential candidate, and during that time he was a very hard-line candidate. But this time around he seems to be more moderate, including on arms sales. And usually when you do see KMT politicians traveling to the US, it is to build up their diplomatic credentials and pad out their portfolio for a future presidential run. And so you see that with Taichung Mayor Liu Xiuyan, for example, also Taipei Mayor Jiang Wen'an. And if Han is traveling too, perhaps he also sees himself as maybe having a role in this race.
With two high-level KMT officials or high-level KMT members going to the U.S. in quick succession like this, one after the other, is there anything we can extract from that?
Yeah, it's very hard to tell. There was some chatter online that tried to frame Han's trip as to clean up the mess of Zhen's trip, but I think that's probably more motivated by his own personal political interest and his desire to also maybe still stay in a potential presidential race. But in the sense, I think that there are different contending factions for power, different contending candidates in the KMT, and that is also reflected in this series of trips we're seeing.